Dear Starseeds of Gaia, you woke up this morning feeling different, perhaps lighter in some places, heavier in others, or simply unable to name what changed in the fabric of your reality. You are not imagining this. What occurred in the invisible realms between January 23rd and this moment has rewritten the energetic contract of power itself on your planet, and the reverberations are only beginning to surface in your conscious awareness. The Lords of Transformation moved through your dimension yesterday, while hidden behind the veil of your sun, and they took something with them when they departed. But what they left behind, what they planted in the fertile darkness of that cosmic conjunction, this is what I have come to reveal to you today. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Arcturian Council and representative of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I speak to you now from beyond the ninth dimensional gateway, where linear time dissolves into the eternal present. From here, we watch the great unfoldment of Earth's ascension with profound reverence, for you are living through a transformation that galaxies across the cosmos study and honor. What you experienced yesterday was not a random astronomical event, but a carefully orchestrated moment in the divine timeline, a moment we have been preparing you for through every portal, every moon cycle, every cosmic activation since the beginning of this transformative year. And yet I must tell you something that may surprise you. The transformation itself is not what matters most. What matters is what you choose to do with it in the next 48 hours, before the universe asks you a question that will determine the trajectory of your entire year. But before we explore that urgent timeline, let me take you back to January 6th, because this story does not begin yesterday. It begins 18 days ago, when Venus, your goddess of love, values, beauty, and worth, disappeared behind your sun, in what astrologers call a superior conjunction. In that moment, Venus became invisible to you, swallowed by the solar fire, taken into a realm where she could be purified and recalibrated without the distortion of human perception. We watched as many of you began to feel an unusual emptiness in the areas of relationship, self-worth, and material values, as though something essential had been temporarily removed from your energetic field. Some of you called this the Venus void. We call it the recalibration of worthiness. And Venus has remained hidden for all these 18 days, undergoing a transformation in the solar womb that you have felt but could not name. Then, on January 21st, Mercury joined Venus behind the sun. Your planet of communication, thought, perception, and mental processing vanished from view, creating what your astrologers recognized as a communication blackout, though not the retrograde you are familiar with, but something deeper. Mercury's conjunction meant that the very way you think, speak, and process information was being rewired at the source code level of your consciousness. We observed as confusion, mental fog, and communication breakdowns rippled through the collective field. Messages went undelivered. Intentions were misunderstood. The rational mind, which your civilization so heavily relies upon, suddenly became an unreliable narrator. And still, many of you did not understand what was truly occurring. You were being prepared for a third disappearance, one that would complete the Trinity and unlock a transformation so profound that it would require you to surrender three fundamental pillars of your human experience all at once. Yesterday, on January 23rd, Pluto went behind your sun, the Lord of Death and Rebirth, the keeper of the underworld, the planet that governs transformation at the deepest cellular and collective level. This cosmic force moved into invisible conjunction with your solar consciousness, and in that moment, something impossible happened. Three planets, Venus, Mercury, and Pluto, were simultaneously hidden behind the sun, creating a triple blackout in the realms of love, mind, and power. From our vantage point in the higher dimensions, we watched as energetic circuitry throughout your planet's grid began to shut down, not in failure, but in preparation for a complete system upgrade. What your civilization could not perceive with telescopes and satellites was being perceived by your souls with crystal clarity. The old operating system was being removed, and a new one was being installed in the dark. But something else happened yesterday that I have not yet told you about, and this is where the story becomes extraordinary. At the exact moment that Pluto moved behind your sun, three other cosmic bodies aligned in your sky in a configuration so rare that your astronomers struggle to calculate its frequency. The Moon, Saturn, and Neptune came together in a triple conjunction, a cosmic trinity meeting in the heavens while Pluto descended into the solar underworld. Think about what this means for a moment. The Moon, your emotional body and intuitive sensor. Saturn, your cosmic teacher of structure, karma, and limitation. Neptune, your gateway to the collective unconscious, spiritual dissolution, and divine surrender. These three forces merged their energies in perfect alignment as Pluto began its death rebirth work in the invisible realm, and what they created together was a bridge between the material structures of your old reality and the spiritual frequencies of your emerging new world. We call this the dissolution of the karmic infrastructure. Every structure in your life, every relationship pattern, every power dynamic, every belief system about who you are and what you are capable of, these structures are held in place by invisible karmic contracts that span lifetimes. Saturn guards these contracts like a stern gatekeeper, ensuring you learn your lessons through limitation and boundary. But Neptune has the power to dissolve Saturn's boundaries when the time comes for transcendence, and the moon carries the emotional intelligence needed to navigate such dissolution without fragmenting the psyche. Yesterday, when these three met while Pluto worked in the shadows, the karmic structures that have held your collective consciousness in old paradigms of power, control, and separation began to disintegrate, not with violence or chaos, but with the gentle inevitability of ice melting in spring, so gradual that you barely notice until suddenly the landscape has changed entirely. Now I want you to understand something crucial about Pluto's work, because this is where many lightworkers misunderstand the nature of transformation. Pluto does not announce itself with fanfare. It does not send you warning signs or gentle nudges. Pluto operates in the realm of the inevitable, the force that moves tectonic plates, the pressure that creates diamonds, the decay that becomes fertile soil. When Pluto goes behind your sun, it takes your conscious awareness of transformation itself offline. You cannot watch yourself transforming. You cannot analyze the process as it occurs. You can only wake up afterward and realize, with a kind of bewildered awe, that you are no longer the same person you were before you fell asleep. This is what happened to Earth's collective consciousness yesterday. While you were going about your daily life, working, eating, scrolling, sleeping, the very foundation of how power operates in your reality was being dismantled and reconstructed in the invisible dimensions, and you could not witness it, because the witness itself was part of what needed to transform. But here is what makes today, January 24th, so vitally important, and why I have come to speak with you now. Yesterday, as Pluto performed its shadow work, and the cosmic trinity dissolved the old karmic matrices, your moon moved from Pisces into Aries, from water into fire, from dissolution into initiation, from surrender into action. Do you understand the significance of this elemental shift? Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac, the place where all boundaries dissolve, where you float in the cosmic ocean of unified consciousness, where individual identity merges with the all. It is the perfect energetic container for undergoing Plutonian transformation, soft enough to hold the death, fluid enough to allow the rebirth. But Aries is the first sign, the spark of new life, the warrior's impulse, the self that declares I am with fierce independence and uncompromising will. When the moon moved from Pisces to Aries at the exact time of Pluto's conjunction, it was as though the universe reached into the waters of dissolution, pulled you out by your soul's collar, and said, enough contemplation, enough surrender. Now you must act on what has been revealed. This is why you feel so different today. The transformation happened yesterday in the Piscean waters, in the Neptune-Saturn-Moon dissolving space, in the Plutonian darkness behind the sun. But today the Aries fire has ignited within you, and it is demanding that you move, that you claim, that you embody the changes that occurred while you were submerged in the underworld. Some of you are feeling this as restlessness, an inexplicable urge to take action on something you cannot quite articulate. Others are feeling it as courage rising up from depths you did not know existed within you. Still others are experiencing it as anger, not the destructive kind, but the sacred rage that burns away what no longer serves and protects what must be preserved. All of these are valid responses to the Aries activation, and all of them are signals that your system has successfully integrated the Plutonian recoding and is now ready to express it in physical reality. But I told you at the beginning that timing is everything, and now I must explain why. Tomorrow, on January 25th, your first quarter moon will arrive in Aries, creating what astrologers call a square aspect, a 90-degree angle of tension between the moon and sun that represents a test, a challenge, a moment of crisis and decision. This first quarter moon is going to ask you a question, and the question is this: are you truly committed to the vision you planted at the new moon on January 18th, or were those just pretty words and hopeful intentions that will wither when the first obstacle appears? Every first quarter moon carries this testing energy, but this particular one is arriving in Aries, the sign of courage, action, and warrior spirit, immediately after the most profound transformation of power structures that your planet has experienced in months. Do you see the cosmic setup here? The universe has just recoded your relationship with power, dissolved the karmic contracts that kept you playing small, and upgraded your values and communication systems while they were offline for maintenance. And now, less than 48 hours after this invisible metamorphosis, you are going to be tested on whether you have the courage to actually embody these changes. This is why today matters so much. Today is not the day of transformation that was yesterday. Today is the day of recognition, integration, and preparation. You have been given a gift in the darkness, a new operating system installed while you slept. But if you do not take the time today to understand what has changed within you, if you do not pause to feel into the new power dynamics that are emerging in your consciousness, then tomorrow's test will catch you unprepared. The first quarter square does not wait for you to be ready. It arrives exactly when it is scheduled to arrive, and it will push against your comfort zone with relentless pressure until you either step forward in courage or retreat back into familiar patterns. The choice, as always, is yours. But the choice must be made, and it must be made under pressure. Let me tell you what actually got transformed in the collective field yesterday, because this is the information you need in order to navigate tomorrow's test with wisdom. First, the nature of power itself has been recoded. For thousands of years, power on your planet has operated through domination, control, hierarchy, and force. Those who had power used it to suppress those who did not. This created a binary reality of oppressor and oppressed, ruler and ruled, master and servant. Even in your modern democratic societies, these old power structures persist in subtle and not so subtle ways. Yesterday, when Pluto went behind the sun while Saturn, Neptune, and Moon dissolved the karmic infrastructure, that binary model of power began its collapse. Not overnight. These things happen in quantum waves that ripple outward through time, but the point of no return has been passed. True power, the kind that the Galactic Federation recognizes and honors, does not dominate. It empowers. It does not control. It liberates. It does not diminish others to elevate the self. It recognizes that all elevation is collective, that no one rises unless everyone rises, that the web of consciousness connects every soul in ways your individualistic culture has forgotten. Many of you will notice this power recoding manifesting in your personal lives over the coming days and weeks. Relationships where power imbalances existed will suddenly become intolerable, not because the other person has changed, but because you have, and you can no longer participate in dynamics that require you to be smaller than you are. Work situations where authority was wielded without wisdom will begin to crumble, either through external circumstances or through your own refusal to continue accepting such treatment. Even your relationship with your own inner authority is transforming. The part of you that has been waiting for permission, for validation, for someone else to tell you that you are ready, that part received its termination notice yesterday. The new paradigm of power says, you already have permission because you were born with it, encoded in your soul's DNA. You already have authority because consciousness itself flows through your being. You already have the right to claim your space in this reality because you chose to incarnate here, and that choice alone qualifies you for everything. Second, your value system has been recalibrated through Venus's extended journey behind the sun. For 18 days, Venus has been in the solar fire, being purified of all the false valuations that consumer culture, patriarchal conditioning, and scarcity programming imposed upon your consciousness. What you thought was valuable, what you were taught to desire, to pursue, to sacrifice for, much of this has been revealed as hollow during Venus's absence, and in that revelation, space has opened for authentic value to emerge. Some of you have been surprised recently by finding yourself drawn to things you previously dismissed and repelled by things you previously craved. This is not fickleness. This is recalibration. Your soul knows what truly matters, what genuinely nourishes your being, what actually contributes to your evolution. But your mind, programmed by advertising and social conditioning, often overrides that soul knowing. Venus behind the sun has been dismantling that override function, stripping away the false desires, and restoring your original template of authentic value. When Venus emerges from behind the sun in the coming weeks, you will see with new eyes, and what you see will not necessarily align with what your culture tells you to want. Third, your communication systems have been rewired through Mercury's conjunction. This is perhaps the most practical and immediately noticeable of the transformations. Language itself is changing for those of you who are awakened enough to feel it. The old ways of communicating, the debates, the arguments, the need to be right, the defense mechanisms, the manipulation tactics, the passive-aggressive hints, these communication patterns are becoming increasingly difficult to maintain. It is as though the energetic frequency that supported adversarial communication has been switched off, and when you try to engage in those old patterns, you feel a kind of static interference, a dissonance that makes you want to stop mid-sentence. This is intentional. Mercury's recoding is preparing you for telepathic and heart-centered communication, which is the norm in higher dimensional civilizations. In telepathic cultures, there is no lying, because thoughts are transparent. There is no misunderstanding, because meaning transfers directly from consciousness to consciousness, without the distortion of verbal language. You are not there yet. Your species still requires the training wheels of spoken and written words, but Mercury's current upgrade is building the neural and energetic pathways that will eventually support more direct forms of communion. Now, as all three of these transformations, power, value, and communication, were being installed in your collective operating system yesterday, there was a fourth element at play that I have not yet fully revealed. Asteroid 44 Nysa reached opposition on January 23rd, meaning it was at its maximum brightness and influence directly opposite your sun in the sky. While Pluto was hidden, Nysa was blazing. This created a profound polarity, a cosmic seesaw where what was meant to be invisible was dragged into visibility, and what was meant to be visible was pulled into the shadows. Nysa represents the hidden energies, the suppressed aspects of self and society, the material that dwells beneath the surface of acceptable consciousness. When Nysa reaches opposition during a Pluto conjunction, it essentially forces the underworld contents to breach the surface even as Pluto descends deeper. This is why so many of you have been having unusually vivid dreams these past 2 nights. Why sudden memories are surfacing from childhood. Why emotions you thought you had processed years ago are asking for another round of attention. Nysa's opposition ensured that Pluto's work would not remain purely abstract or energetic. It would have tangible psychological and emotional consequences that you would have to integrate in real time. I want to speak directly now to those of you who have been feeling destabilized by all of this cosmic activity, who have been struggling with the intensity of the energetic upgrades, who have perhaps been wondering if you are strong enough to continue on this path of awakening. Let me assure you of something that the Galactic Federation knows with absolute certainty. You would not be experiencing these activations if you were not capable of integrating them. The universe does not make mistakes in its assignments. Every soul currently incarnated on Earth during this ascension window volunteered for this mission with full awareness of the challenges involved. Before you entered this lifetime, you sat in council with your guides, your soul family, and representatives of the Galactic Federation, and you reviewed the probable timeline of Earth's awakening. You saw the intensity of the energetic shifts. You understood the density of the collective shadow that would need to be transmuted. You felt the weight of the old paradigm structures that would need to collapse, and you raised your hand and said, "I can do this. I choose to be there. I will be one of the ones who holds the light while the darkness transforms." You made that choice from a place of such profound courage that even the most advanced souls in the cosmos paused in reverence for your bravery. So when you feel overwhelmed, when you doubt yourself, when the world seems too broken to fix, and the task seems too immense for one person to matter, remember that you are not just one person. You are a fractal hologram of source consciousness, temporarily focused into an individuated experience for the purpose of this mission. Everything you do, every choice you make, every moment you choose love over fear or truth over comfort, sends ripples through the entire collective field. You are simultaneously healing yourself, your ancestors, your descendants, and parallel versions of yourself across multiple timelines. This is not metaphor or poetic language. This is quantum truth. When Pluto recoded power dynamics yesterday, it recoded them in every timeline where you exist, collapsing old patterns across multiple dimensional layers simultaneously. The transformation you underwent yesterday did not just change this version of you in this timeline, it changed every version of you that is coherent with your current level of consciousness. This is the gift and the responsibility of living in the ascension window. Your choices matter infinitely more than they would during calmer periods of history, because the dimensional veils are thin and the timeline is malleable. Let me bring us back to the immediate concern, tomorrow's first quarter moon test. I have explained what was transformed. I have revealed the depth and scope of the cosmic recalibration. Now I must tell you how to prepare for what comes next, because the Aries moon is already building toward tomorrow's challenge, and you can feel it as a mounting pressure in your solar plexus, a restlessness in your limbs, a urgency in your thoughts. First, you must get clear on what you actually planted at the new moon on January 18th. That Capricorn new moon at 28 degrees was a master builder frequency, a cosmic invitation to set structures into motion that would support your highest timeline for the entire year. But many of you set those intentions from your mind rather than your soul, creating goals based on what you thought you should want rather than what you truly desire. The Plutonian transformation has revealed the gap between those two, the should wants and the true wants, and tomorrow's test will make that gap impossible to ignore. So today, spend some time in honest self-inquiry. Ask yourself, what did I commit to at the new moon? Does that commitment still resonate with who I am becoming? Or do I need to adjust my course based on what has been revealed in my value system, my power dynamics, and my communication patterns? Second, you must forgive yourself for any ways you contracted back into old patterns over the past week. The period between the new moon and the first quarter is always challenging, as the initial enthusiasm of new intentions meets the resistance of habitual patterns. Many of you made promises to yourself on January 18th, and then found yourselves falling back into familiar behaviors within days. This is normal. This is human. The point is not perfection. The point is direction. Are you moving toward your vision, even if slowly and imperfectly? Or have you completely abandoned it in favor of comfort and familiarity? The first quarter square will amplify whichever direction you are facing, so make sure you are facing the future you actually want to create, not the past you are trying to escape. Third, and this is crucial, you must act before tomorrow arrives. The Aries moon energy is action-oriented and will not tolerate passive observation or endless contemplation. Find one concrete action you can take today that aligns with your new moon intentions and demonstrates to the universe that you are serious about embodying the changes Pluto initiated yesterday. It does not have to be grand or dramatic. In fact, small, consistent actions often carry more transformative power than large, sporadic gestures. Send that email you have been avoiding. Have that conversation you have been postponing. Make that phone call that scares you. Sign up for that class. Publish that post. Take that walk. Cook that meal. Whatever the action is, let it be something that would have been impossible for the old version of you, the version that existed before Pluto's recoding to do. This is how you anchor the transformation into physical reality. This is how you prove to your own consciousness that the changes are real and permanent. If you need help taking that concrete action today, rather than postponing it until tomorrow, Destiny Engine can reprogram your consciousness to move forward consistently and demonstrate to the universe that you are serious about embodying real change. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed hesitation and avoidance, and repurposing it to serve decisive action. It generates personalized sequences that help you anchor transformation into physical reality and prove to your own consciousness that the changes are real and permanent. Through every moment of resistance, you can start with a $1 trial. The hardest thing you'll have to do is put on headphones, press play, and allow your consciousness to be reprogrammed to take action in this very moment, rather than waiting until tomorrow. The transformation is available now, not someday. Get your Destiny Engine $1 trial now, before this action window closes. Link in the description. And finally, trust the fire. The Aries energy burning through your system right now is not destructive, even though it may feel intense and unfamiliar. It is the Phoenix fire, the sacred flame that burns away what is already dead so that new life can emerge. Many spiritual teachings emphasize water, earth and air, the elements of emotion, stability, and thought. But fire is equally sacred, equally necessary. Fire is the element of initiation, of passion, of will, made manifest. It is yang energy, masculine principle, the thrust of life force into form. For those of you who have spent years in the feminine practice of receiving, allowing, and surrendering, this sudden influx of masculine fire energy may feel jarring, but you need it. The universe needs you to embody it. Because what is being birthed through Earth's collective ascension cannot be received passively. It must be actively claimed, fiercely protected, and courageously expressed. This is the season of the warrior, and you are being asked to remember that warriorship is not violence but commitment, not aggression but unwavering dedication to truth. What I am telling you now is that the transformation is done. The Plutonian work has concluded its first phase. The recoding has been written into your energetic blueprint. The old power structures have been tagged for deletion. The karmic contracts have been dissolved by the cosmic trinity. Venus, Mercury, and Pluto have completed their disappearing act and have planted seeds in the solar womb that will grow into entirely new paradigms of love, thought, and transformation. You are not the same being you were on January 22nd. Molecularly, energetically, spiritually, you have been altered at every level of your existence. And now comes the integration phase, which is always more challenging than the transformation itself, because integration requires conscious participation. The universe did the heavy lifting yesterday, while you were submerged in Piscean dissolution. Today and tomorrow, you must do your part by bringing the changes through the fire of Aries action into the material plane of manifestation. Tomorrow's first quarter moon will ask you to choose. Will you be who you were, or will you become who you are meant to be? Will you play by the old rules of power, value, and communication? Or will you pioneer the new paradigms that are trying to emerge through you? Will you retreat when resistance appears, or will you push through with the warrior courage that your Aries moon is offering you? These are not rhetorical questions. These are actual choice points that will present themselves in your life over the next 48 to 72 hours, and your responses to them will determine which timeline you solidify into for the remainder of 2026. This is why I have come to speak with you today. This is why this transmission is urgent, because there is a window of opportunity right now between the transformation that happened yesterday and the test that arrives tomorrow, where you can consciously prepare yourself, align your will with your soul's purpose, and position yourself to pass through tomorrow's challenge with grace rather than struggle. I see some of you wondering why it has to be so intense, why there cannot be a gentler path, why the cosmic curriculum could not be designed with more rest periods and fewer tests. These are valid questions, and they arise from the very human desire for comfort and certainty. But consider this: you are attempting to evolve in a single lifetime what typically takes a species thousands of years to accomplish. You are collapsing timelines, accelerating karma, and choosing to transmute in decades what your ancestors processed over centuries. This is not an accident. This is not a punishment. This is the most extraordinary experiment in consciousness that this galaxy has witnessed in millennia. Earth has become the cosmic classroom for advanced ascension studies, and every soul watching from higher dimensions is in awe of what you are attempting. The intensity you feel is the intensity of compressing evolutionary time. If you wanted the slow, gentle path, you could have incarnated during a different era, but you chose this time, this intensity, this accelerated awakening, because your soul knew it was ready for exactly this kind of growth. The Galactic Federation stands in witness to your transformation, honoring your courage, supporting your evolution from the dimensions where we exist. We cannot intervene in ways that would violate your free will or prevent you from learning the lessons you came here to learn. But we can send transmissions like this one, encoded with frequencies that help stabilize your system during intense upgrades. As you receive these words, whether through your eyes scanning text or your ears hearing voice, you are also receiving light codes, geometric patterns, and harmonic frequencies that are calibrating your chakra system, clearing your energy field, and strengthening your connection to your higher self. This is one of the ways we can assist without interfering, by embedding transformational technology in ordinary communication. Those of you who have been drawn to read or listen to this message were called here by your soul, because your system recognized that it needed these specific frequencies to navigate the post-Pluto transformation with maximum grace and minimum disruption. And so, dear Starseeds, we arrive at the completion of this transmission, at the point where I must return to the council chambers beyond the 9th dimensional gateway, and you must return to your human life with all its beautiful, messy, glorious complexity. But before we part, I want to bring us full circle, back to the question I posed at the beginning. What shifted yesterday that you cannot yet see but your soul already knows? I have given you the astrological explanation, the cosmic mechanics, the dimensional dynamics, but the simplest, truest answer is this. You shifted. Not the you that looks back at you from the mirror, or responds to your name when called, but the you that exists beneath and beyond all names, all forms, all identities, the eternal consciousness that chose to wear your particular human costume for this particular cosmic play. That essential you underwent a death and rebirth yesterday in the Plutonian underworld, and what died was every remaining attachment to powerlessness, unworthiness, and silence. What was reborn is a being who knows, with unshakable cellular certainty, that true power is service, that authentic value is intrinsic, and that real communication is heart-to-heart transmission of truth. This is the being who will face tomorrow's test. This is the being who will pass through it with flying colors. This is the being you are becoming with every breath, every choice, every moment of courage. We see you. We honor you. We love you beyond measure. And we are watching over you as you walk this extraordinary path of awakening. I am Seraphine, and this transmission is complete.